This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we have idea about VDI solution.
Yes.
At what platform?
Um, we see I'm a consultant, so I have used like Nerdio,
Hmm.
and then most of the clients now, what I have now, they are trying to go to AVD and Intune. So I'm
Okay,
just trying to learn the system so I can help them.
fine, fine. You know about the VDI.
Yes.
So means how VDI can work.
So it's like a share resources, like up in from a data center, like there's a similar to VMware Citrix. So Microsoft,
Okay.
this is the Microsoft product, like so it's like people connecting, and they are sharing
Mm.
resources like CPU, memory, storage, everything like that. The for virtual desktop, so they log in using maybe a remote desktop software or using the web link. And then Microsoft also has called AVD. That's not dedicated. That's where they share from like maybe like a one bread, maybe 10 people eating. That's like AVD, something like that. If I'm explaining correctly.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Fine. So Azure established one portion related to
Uh,
the VDI solution called WVD or Azure Virtual Desktop. The
uh,
WVD is, you can say, that old one. They just updated the name of WVD to Azure Virtual Desktop that help us to set up our infrastructure by using the single virtual machine. We are able to
mm,
take the RDP from multiple user at a time, and
okay.
each and every user able to access their desktop separately, right? Means they need to create, Azure Virtual Desktop will create a profile data for every users that you want to connect with same computer, same virtual machine, right?
Got it.
So not accessing the single machine from multiple user, we have a lots of things that we need to learn in case of Azure Virtual Desktop, like types of host pool, about the profile data saving, manage our golden image. Multiple contents are available in Azure Virtual
Okay.
Desktop. So I'm going to start from the very basic, because you know that the prerequisite to set up our Azure Virtual Desktop, you should know about each and every point related to the Azure Active Directory and local Active Directory.
Okay. Okay.
Because without AD, without domain controller, we don't have any option to set up the
Yeah.
Azure Virtual Desktop. Not only the Azure Virtual Desktop, we are unable to set up any VDI solution.
Okay.
Correct? So
Yes.
basically, the VDI solution provided by multiple platform. With the help of Citrix, right? With the help of Citrix, we are able to set up our VDI solution. With the help
Mm-hmm.
of VMware Horizon, right? With the
Yeah.
help of VMware, we are able to set up our VDI solution. Even Microsoft
Mm.
Windows Server, right? Windows Server can also give us option to set up a VDI called RDS.
Yes.
RDS is also example of VDI, correct?
Yeah.
And last, we have option of Azure portal, right? So
Yeah.
each and every service, if we talk about Citrix, VMware, and Microsoft Windows, these all are considered
Hmm.
as a on-premises environment. But if we talk about Azure portal, it's a type of infrastructure as a services, including with PaaS. This is the
Okay.
combination of IaaS, infrastructure as a services, and
Mhm.
combination of PaaS, platform as a services, right?
Yeah.
So our responsibility to understand about the first VDI, what is VDI and how it works, and after that we'll proceed and implement each and every point over a Azure portal.
Okay.
Clear?
Clear.
So VDI, as per the name suggests, It's a virtual desktop interface, right? Virtual
Mm-hmm.
desktop interface. You can say that it's a upgraded version of virtualization.
Okay.
Upgraded version of virtualization, because what happened with the virtualization, with the help of single hardware, we are able to create multiple virtual machine. Is that correct? By using the
Yeah.
single high configuration based machine, we are able to create multiple virtual machine. You just need to install ESXi host or Zen servers or
Mm-hmm.
hypervisor, any kind of platform you can select. And if you
Yeah.
have a 2 TB of RAM based machine, 8 core of processor, 1 TB of hard drive, so by using this configuration, we are able to create n number of virtual machine, like 16 gig based virtual machine, 8 gig based virtual machine, 32 gig based virtual machine. We are able to
Mm-hmm.
create multiple VMs. But
Yeah.
the gap between virtualization and VDI, both are different to each other. Let's take example. For
Mm-hmm.
example, this is our virtual environment, right?
Okay.
And we have a VDI environment. I'm not talking about the Azure Virtual Desktop only. I'm talking about the entire platform who is responsible to set up the VDI.
Okay.
In case of virtualization, for example, this is my base machine. The configuration of our base machine may be up to 1 TB of RAM
Mm-hmm.
and 8 core of processor and up to 10 TB of HDD. For example, just
Okay.
example, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now, so we have a huge amount of hardware configuration, 1 TB RAM enough, 8 core processor, and 10 TB of SDD, and we don't have any operating system. Unfortunately, we
Mm-hmm.
don't have any operating system, so which is considered as a bare metal.
Yeah.
Without OS, the hardware configuration considered as a bare metal. So by using the bare metal, we are able to set up our virtualization. So to set
Mm-hmm.
up the virtualization, we have a multiple way. We can install ESXi, we can install Zen server,
Mm-hmm.
the product of Microsoft, sorry, product of Citrix, and we have option to establish Hyper-V.
Hyper-V.
So these applications are considered as a bare metal application. The meaning of bare metal application, we can directly install to the hardware configuration without OS. Is
Mm-hmm.
that clear?
Yeah.
Workstation is a hosted virtualization. Virtual PC, hosted virtualization, right? And virtual box, hosted virtualization. But the Citrix, Zen server, ESXi, and Hyper-V, these all are considered as a bare metal virtualization.
Bare metal.
Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Using bare metal virtualization, we are able to set up n number of instances. Instances in the sense I'm talking about the virtual machines.
Mm-hmm.
As per your requirement, with the help of single host, we are able to create a number of virtual machines, correct? Each and every virtual machines contain their own operating system. Linux, Windows
Yeah.
Server, Windows Client, Mac, any kind of operating system we are able to install in virtual machines. Is that correct?
Yes.
But unfortunately, in virtualization, one user at a time able to access your virtual machine,
Yeah.
not more than one, right? But let's talk about the VDI solution. So in case of VDI solution, what exactly happened? Same. This is our host, right? It may be
Mm-hmm.
ESXi or Zen server. And using host, we are able to set up a virtual machine, VM. And by using the virtual machine, we are able to create multiple sessions. We are able to access same computer through user 1,
Mm-hmm.
same computer we are able to access through user 2 and user 2 and user 3, right?
Yeah.
Host, then VM can also create a virtualization, because they give us option to access the same computer through the multiple user.
Yeah.
Reduce the cost, reduce the manpower, reduce the maintenance. That's why organization prefer to use the VDI. Clear?
VDI. Clear.
Now, one more point just wanted to add.
Mm-hmm.
VDI is also categorized in two different parts, right? VDI solution is also categorized in two different part. How we
Okay.
can understand about the VDI parts? So we are able to set up our VDI by using virtual infrastructure, right? We are able to set up our VDI through the virtual infrastructure. And second, we can establish the VDI solution using cloud infrastructure. What do you think about the gap between virtual infrastructure and cloud infrastructure?
The cloud is like, in let's say in Amazon. Amazon don't have it, but like in the Microsoft Azure, we can build uh, we like the was a host, and we can share it.
Uh,
And then like then in on-prem, like we can build our own little, like a HP or a Dell ESX servers, and then share resources through that. You put install like ESX or anything like that, Hyper-V, and then create the VMs through that, and then share the sessions.
Means we are responsible to establish our own hardware
Yeah,
for VDI. Great.
yeah,
Cloud infrastructure. In cloud infrastructure, yes, both provider can give us option to set up our VDI. Amazon Web Services provide you option to set up your VDI solution,
yeah,
and AVD, you know that core product of Microsoft Azure.
yeah.
So both are a cloud service provider. Both are that we can establish over a cloud in the sense over a portal.
Hmm. That's true.
So we should know about the implementation process related to the AVD over a Microsoft Azure, but you should know about the base, how AVD come into the picture, how it is upgraded version of virtualization, what are the
Mm-hmm.
prerequisites that we need to know before implementing the Azure Virtual Desktop. So we'll
Right.
try to complete each and every point. Let me help you to understand about the agenda, the course code. I hope you know about the course code for Azure Virtual Desktop. It's a
Yeah.
AZ-140, right?
100. Okay.
This is the course code for our Azure Virtual Desktop.
Okay.
So we'll follow the each and every content based on the AG140 configuring and operating Microsoft Azure Virtual Desktop, right?
Got it.
So it is also categorized in four different module. You can say that plan and implement an Azure Virtual Desktop infrastructure, plan and implement identity and security, which is part of Active Directory.
Hmm.
Plan and implement user environments and application means Azure Virtual Desktop. We are able to Azure Virtual Desktop can give us option to install application for multiple users on same machine.
Okay.
Last option, monitor and maintain Azure Virtual Desktop infrastructure. So four different module we need to cover, but the first and important point, which is responsible to handle up to 50% of content, you should
Hmm.
know about the implement and management of Azure Virtual Desktop. So I'll give you the
Okay.
complete information, right? But we should know about the prerequisite first. Is that
Okay.
okay?
That's fine. Yep.
Great. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give you one uh, you can say that basic understanding of our AVD. Just
Okay.
with the help of diagram, let me help you to understand about the prerequisites. Means if
Okay.
anyone plan to set up their own infrastructure using Azure Virtual Desktop, so what are the prerequisites we should know about?
Okay.
This is the basic thing, or you can say that consider as an introduction.
Okay.
So For AVD, yes, we have option to set up domain, which is really important. The domain is a backbone.
Okay.
Azure VM domain,
Okay.
or Azure ADDS,
Okay.
right? And last, on-prem ADDS.
Mhm. Okay.
You can select any, not mandatory to all, right? So these
Okay.
all are the prerequisites. It's mandatory you should proceed with the maybe Azure Virtual Machines domain controller. You can establish your Azure AAD, and if you want to synchronize the user from on-premises AD to AVD, for AVD, you wanted to control your Azure Virtual Desktop with the help of local Active Directory, so it's also possible, right?
Okay.
But it's mandatory to set up at least one domain controller.
Okay.
This is example of infrastructure as a service. Azure AAD, core example of PaaS service. Okay,
Yeah.
and again, this is our on-premises service, or you can say that this is considered as a local domain controller on-prem.
Yeah.
Done. Now, the second important point, which is really helpful for us, you must need to establish your on network. I'm talking about the virtual network, VNet. The second
Mhm.
prerequisite to establish our Azure Virtual Desktop, you should create
Mhm.
your own VNet, and which is applicable for everything. Means if you want to set up your PaaS AD or IaaS AD, in both cases, it's mandatory
Mhm.
to create your own network,
Okay.
virtual network. Virtual machines should be connected with your VNet. PaaS services should be connected with your VNet, and on-premises should be connected through the VPN to your VNet.
Yes.
Prerequisite
Azure.
one, prerequisite two, and now let's talk about prerequisite three. AD sync, right? The prerequisite third, you must need to synchronize the AD users from on-premises to Azure AD, or from Azure Virtual Machine to Azure AD, or Azure PaaS services to Azure Active Directory. It's mandatory to synchronize it.
Mhm.
Clear?
Clear.
Next, another prerequisite, you can proceed with AVD host pool.
Okay.
AVD host pool. Final. If everything is okay, if you completed the prerequisite, like you good with the domain controller, you good with the VNet and AD synchronization, then AVD host pool come into the picture.
Okay.
Host pool can give us option to create instances, not instances. First, you need to select host. Multiple hosts available. We'll discuss in our day-to-day sessions, not
Okay.
in single day. And AVD can provide you instances, and instances can give us option to schedule the sessions, decide the
Mhm.
sessions,
Okay.
right? Means how many users you wanted to connect at the same time. It may be
Mhm.
session 1, 2, or 3.
Okay.
Is that clear? So you can say that Active Directory, Azure Active Directory, and then host pool come into the picture. Means including with networking.
Okay. Okay.
I think we good with AD, we good with VNet, we good with
Mhm.
AD synchronization. I don't think you have issues with these topics.
No. No. Is it
Great.
better to like do most of my clients, right? They're like small businesses, so
Uh-huh.
they want to go like in the cloud. So is it better to have like Azure EDS service or do like a Azure VM domain?
Azure VM domain, right?
No, no. So what option is the best?
It's fully depend upon the client's requirement. Sometimes
Okay.
client ask you to set up their VDI solution fully cloud. No need to
Fully
implement
cloud.
on
Yeah.
on-premises, because what happen in case of on-premises, your domain is already synchronized with Office 365, right? If you
Yes.
did any changes in on-premises, it will reflect to the Azure Virtual Desktop. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really difficult to manage the both infrastructure with the help of same domain controller, right? Because you are taking care the local environment with the help of
Mm-hmm.
local active directory user. You are taking care the entire employees workstation, and
Yeah.
same users you want to utilize with same users you synchronize with Office 365 portal.
Yeah.
Got it. So over
Right.
Office 365, we have a number of services, provide Teams access, provide Outlook access. Multiple products are available. And
Yeah.
same user you wanted to provide the access of AVD host pool, which is really
Yeah.
difficult to manage and maintain the
Mm-hmm.
infrastructure. So
Got it.
that's why most of organization prefer to establish their domain controller using AVD host pool
Okay.
with the help of Azure Virtual Machine.
Got it.
They just purchase a one high configuration virtual machine over a cloud, over a Azure portal, and install the ADDS services. Simple.
Okay.
Create users, and users should be synchronized with
Mm-hmm.
Azure Active Directory,
Okay.
right? So most of organization prefer to establish their own infrastructure over a Azure virtual machine, and then with the help of AD sync they are able to they need to synchronize the users to Azure AD, and then start using services of AVD host pool. Clear?
Okay.
We will discuss
Got
about the all. We'll establish our on-premises domain, and with the help of VPN we will connect it by
it.
using the Azure AAD. We will discuss practically, but uh, but as per the company requirement, we need to focus on Azure Virtual Machine domain to establish our
Okay.
infrastructure. Clear?
Okay. Clear.
Great. Any question about the basic introduction?
No, no, no.
Great. Let me help you to understand about prerequisite in domain, prerequisite in VNet, and prerequisite in case of AD synchronization, right?
Okay.
Because in case of AVD, it's not a single
Mm-hmm.
service. No
Yeah.
one can set up the AVD without VNet, without AD, without Azure AD. We don't have any option to set up the infrastructure of Azure Virtual Desktop, right? Let me show you. Actually, I'm running another batch, almost completed all the topics related to the Azure Virtual Desktop. So let me
Mm-hmm.
show you my current infrastructure and our responsibility to set up the infrastructure for our
Okay.
class as well. So what I
Okay.
did, let me show you what I did to establish our Azure Virtual Desktop. Because what happened, if you miss any single step, you are unable to
Mm-hmm.
set up your AVD environment, right?
Yeah.
So what I did, this is my virtual machine. The first one, I created a one domain controller with server 2016,
Okay.
and second, I established a one VNet, and because your virtual machine should be a part of VNet, so I
Yeah.
established one virtual network, and the same virtual network I synchronized, same domain I synchronized with Azure Active Directory. I need to open multiple wizard to understand about what I did step by step and what we need to do in case of adding our AVD host pool environment.
And they all have to be in the same resource group, or we can have a different resource group.
Yeah, same resource group. It's mandatory. Both resources should be
Okay.
communicate to each other.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Network. This is Azure AD, and last one is Azure Virtual Desktop AVD.
Okay.
So what we need to do to perform the practical activity, this is my domain controller that I installed in server 2016.
Okay.
Resource group AVD class and location West US 3, right?
Okay.
Training 0, this is the virtual machine that I use to create in a host pool. This is the part of host pool. First step, domain controller. Second step, see, AVD VNet class, AVD class resource group and
Mhm.
West US 3. Clear?
Okay.
Step second, step third. What I did, I synchronized the users. I synchronized the entire users that created in our Azure Virtual Machines domain controller.
Okay.
See, AWS synchronized user, Azure synchronized user, Telnet synchronized user, right? So I synchronize my domain controller with Azure Virtual, Azure Active Directory, and last option, this is AVD environment. I created one host pool. This is the host
Okay.
pool that I created, and under the host pool, this is the name of class host pool. Contain one virtual machine with three sessions, one VM and three session means single virtual machines we are able to access through the three different user at a time. See, one virtual machine is
Got it.
available, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No active session, no disconnected session, no pending session, no total session because our virtual machine is turned off, because this is my pay as you go account. So if we
Okay.
don't have a usage, you must need to turn off your resources. Clear?
Yeah.
So that's why
Got it.
it's so unavailable and available both. In total machine unavailable because machine is turned off currently.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yeah.
So single VM, single virtual machine, we are able to connect through multiple users that decided by the session, how many sessions you decided, correct?
Yeah. Um, we can also do FS logic, right?
FS Logic can help you to protect your profile data,
Okay.
can help us to save our users profile data. For example,
Yeah.
you created one virtual machine, right, and
Yeah.
assigned for three different users, three different session. It means that
Hmm.
three different user able to access your virtual machine on a single click, right?
Yeah.
And each and every users can create their own profile, my document, my picture, download,
Yeah.
recycle bin, desktop, right? These all are folder which are part of I think profile
Mhm.
data, right?
Yeah.
So FS Logics is a type of Microsoft tool that help us to set up our infrastructure to protect the profile data. If any issues occurred with user, for example,
Uh-huh.
unfortunately you deleted your user, so it's really difficult to recover the data, right? So
Yeah.
FS Logic can help us to protect the data and put over a cloud, put over a on premises. It's up to you. It's not
Yeah.
mandatory, right? To put on
Okay.
a cloud only.
And that FS logic has to be installed on what, the main VM?
Yep. Golden image.
Okay.
You must need to install FS Logic on gold image, and after that create a template, right? Template of your virtual machine.
Yeah.
Then using the template, we are able to create a number of virtual machines under the
Got
AVD host pool, right?
it. Okay.
We will
Okay.
discuss each and every point. No worry
Yeah.
about the practical part. Will
Okay.
help you to understand about from basic to expert level of Azure
Hmm.
Virtual Desktop host management. Right?
Got it. Yep.
Fine.
Fine. Good.
Cool. Now let's talk about the prerequisite, because I'm just going to divide our Azure Virtual Desktop
Mm.
training in one, two, three, four different parts.
Okay.
For better understanding, we'll follow the proper blueprint of Microsoft, but we need to divide our AVD training in four different parts because we are responsible to handle the uh, means day-to-day activity as per the client requirement. We are not preparing ourselves for the only certification. We are responsible to take care the
Yeah.
client's infrastructure, right?
Fine. Yep.
So It's not mandatory we just clear our examination with 70%, 75%, or 80%. No, we are responsible to know about the depth of our uh, client infrastructure. And if client want to set up their own infrastructure, we should know about how we can start to implement, right?
Got it.
So first point is local domain setup. Yes, local domain
Yeah.
setup I'm talking about, it may be Azure Virtual Domain, Azure Virtual Machines domain, on premises domain, or Azure AAD domain.
Mm-hmm.
Once we complete the part of local domain, no, sorry, the first point is Azure Virtual Network. This is really important.
Okay.
We need to start from the Azure Virtual Network because it's mandatory no matter you are using on premises domain or Azure domain. The virtual network is really important for every infrastructure. Second
Okay.
part is domain controller. We should know about the domain. Third
Yeah.
part is AD Connect, AD Sync,
Okay.
and last AVD host pool.
Okay.
Right. So we should know about the each and every point. Need to
Yeah.
start from the AVD Azure Virtual Network. Then we should know about the concept of domain, and we are
Mm-hmm.
responsible to manage the infrastructure of our Azure Virtual Desktop. And last, AVD host pool.
Got it.
These all are the points that we need to know about.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct. So these all are the services that require to set up our AVD host pool.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. So in case of Azure Virtual Networking, how much you compatible with VNet?
I'm good. Means creating virtual network. Means they use means Microsoft has their own private IP address 10 dot. Depends, or you can use 192. You can create based on that. Like if it's less 24, we can do our own subnets underneath that. Uh, and all the stuff, if you need to do routing or anything like that, and then uh, that's the virtual network. You can do peering between the two virtual networks so they can talk to each other. Um, uh, if it's everything, if it's inside the one network, they talk to each other. But two different virtual network, we had to do peering.
What are the
That's
other components of VNet?
uh, we can do like create subnets. We can do what else can we do? Oh shit. That's all I know for now.
No problem. So if we talk about the virtual network, yes, if we have a single network VNet, we are able to connect entire virtual machine, and and every virtual machine able to ping each other, right? But
Yeah.
if we have a two different VNet and we are trying to communicate to each other, I don't think we are able to do that without pairing. Correct?
Yes.
Uh, just give me 1 minute, please. Sorry, I'm getting
Yeah.
call.
Yeah. No, no, no. That's fine. That's fine.
Thank you. Yeah, Jay, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Okay, fine. So not only the VNet pairing, and just need to know about the only not only
Mm-hmm.
understanding of creating VNet, because a number of components are available in our Azure Virtual Network. Let me help you to understand about the components which are required for proper management of VNet, right?
Okay.
So you should know about what is VNet. This is the basic thing, right? You should know about the VNet. Then second, you know that about NSG. I think we have already discussed in our AG-104 training, NSG,
Yeah.
Network Security Group,
Nice.
right?
Good. Good. Yeah.
You should know about the DNS configuration. DNS not with VM, DNS with our virtual network, right?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Its responsibility to configure public IP and
Mm-hmm.
private IP address, right? It's mandatory for
Yep.
us. We should know about the procedure to fix the public IP address and private IP address, because both IP provided by the Azure itself.
Azure itself. Yeah.
So we should know about how we can establish it. Number
I,
fifth, another component related to the virtual network environment means Azure Virtual Networking. The another component is, um, yes, you know that VNet pairing.
mm,
And number six, final and last components which is required for our Azure Virtual Desktop. I'm talking about gateway,
okay.
right? Virtual gateway. Why it is important? Because the virtual gateway can help us. Virtual gateway can help us to establish VPN, right? If you want to set up
Okay.
express route or VPN, it's mandatory you should know about the virtual network gateway, how we can establish, what are the features that contained by the virtual network desktop.
Got it.
Clear?
Yep.
As it is, in case of domain controller, we should know about the multiple components, multiple topics. So our responsibility to learn each and every point, and let's talk about domain controller. In case of domain, you should know about the procedure in the sense, I'm talking about the installation,
Mm-hmm.
right? You should know about the AD object and containers,
Okay.
objects and containers,
Yeah.
and we should know about the FSMO role. Not much, but you should know about the usage of these roles. And then you should know about the GPO implementation, right?
Mm-hmm.
How to
Group.
configure group policy management, because without GPU we are not able to set up our FS logics.
Got it.
It's mandatory you should know about the GPU, because the FS logics can create the backup of our users profile data with the help of group policy object, with the help of group policy management. Clear?
Okay.
And
Clear.
last you should know about just the final ad user ad users delegation. That's it.
Okay.
These components are required for the Active Directory domain services. I'm talking about local domain services that you need to
Okay.
install on our Azure virtual machine or on-premises VM, on-premises based machine. Clear?
Okay.
AD Connect, simple. Synchronize users, synchronize users from ADDS
Mm-hmm.
to Azure AD. Simple. That's it.
Got it.
ADDS to Azure AD. And the last and final step that we need to follow, implementation of AVD. Is that okay?
Yep.
Fine, because the AVD is also categorized in one, two, three, four different part, right? AVD is also categorized in multiple part.
Okay.
Uh, Shared, not shared. Shared is the internal thing. One is personal, hmm?
Okay. Okay.
And second one is pooled.
Okay.
So pooled consider as a shared, personal consider as a dedicated.
Dedicated. Okay.
Personal considered as a dedicated and pooled considered as a shared, means
Okay.
just like as a shared host.
Okay.
Clear? So these
Yeah.
all are the components that we need to start step by step:
Mm.
network, domain, AD Connect, AVD host pool. And under the AVD host pool, it contains lots of component. You should know
o-
about the difference between pool and personal. Under the under the pool, it is also contain a two more option: breadth first and depth first, right?
Okay.
FS Logics, MSIX package, golden image,
Hmm.
backup, auto scaling, lots of services that we will cover in that we will discuss in our final step. But these all
Okay.
are the prerequisites that we must need to prepare to start our AVD journey. Is that clear?
Okay. Clear.
Any question, any doubt about the
No, no,
components?
no, no.
So
So
do one
means
thing.
yeah, means see in the virtual network DNS, right? Uh,
Hmm.
the only time we had to mention DNS if we create our own DNS, otherwise we have to use the Azure default DNS, right?
No, we'll use our DNS. That DNS means the IP address that you are planning to create our Active Directory. The
Active
machine that you
Directory. Okay.
decided for the Active Directory domain services, it works just like a DNS.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
works just like a DNS server, right?
Okay. Got it.
So these all are the services that we need to implement, right? These all are the services
Mm.
that we need to implement to set up our infrastructure, to set up our infrastructure for Azure Virtual Desktop. Hmm?
Got it. Clear.
Any question, any doubt?
No. Good. Okay.
Done. So do one thing. You just need to go through that point related to the networking,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll start from the network. And once we complete the part network, then domain, then AD Connect, then AVD host pool. Is that okay?
Okay.
I'll share the recording in 1 hour, and we'll start from the networking tomorrow. Clear?
Okay. And use the same link to connect tomorrow?
Same link, same link. If any
Okay.
changes, I'll inform you before one
Uh,
day. No worry
Okay.
about
Okay.
it. Huh?
All right. No problem.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Huh? Take care.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks. Thanks.
my
Bye.
pleasure. Yeah.